Hi, it is the lazy days of summer, or maybe it's the crazy days of summer. Depends on how you look at it, but absolutely time for daisies. I'm Scott from Gardenworks. I just want to let you know about a few different daisies you see in the landscape in gardens. You may wonder what they are, you may recognize them, and we'll talk maybe a little bit about how to grow them best and a few little other odds and ends. Shouldn't take long, and it's going to be crazy. Great, well listen, the first comment is the director questioned my use of the word crazy, but because, you know, how crazy can it get? Well, I don't think it can be as crazy as Ozzy Osbourne, but I can get crazy. First thing, there's daisies that are perennials and there's daisies that are annuals. We really think of a lot of the daisies that are summer bloomers. We think of the perennial ones because they're there every year, and so obviously the perennials come back every year. And there's a few really great ones, starting with Rudebeckia, which is early this year in the year 2021 because it's been really warm. So they've come out quite early. And the classic perennial Rudebeckia or black-eyed Susan is the Rudebeckia Goldstar, and it's a fairly tall grower. It can grow 4 feet. It could grow a bit taller, but usually about 4 feet or so. And beautiful yellow flowers. And I have pictures of this blooming in May, and then in the same spot in November, actually, here on the West Coast. So really long blooming, fabulous. Some people, you need super well-drained soil for them, and it pays to clean them up every year at the end of the year and get rid of all the foliage so that they're not because they're a little bit prone to 1 or 2 diseases, but you can have the well-drained soil, sunny location, they'll do fine. But they're tall, so there's a couple cultivars that are not as tall. This is one, this is called Gold Rush. And then there's the one everybody was really excited about when it first came out. Look how much of a compact clump that is. That is a variety called Little Goldstar. And look at those aren't quite in bloom yet, but look at all the flower buds. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be crazy. Next up, Echinaceas or coneflowers, and there are honestly dozens and dozens and dozens of cultivars of coneflower now. The other name, Echinacea, you might know from the herb that you would take to, I can't remember what it is oh, it's for memory, isn't it? No, that's ginkgo, that's for memory. Echinacea is just a general wellness thing. And anyway, there's all these different varieties. The cone refers to that cone on top. After the petals have all dropped off, you still can have the cone. But this is one of my favorites, Echinacea Sombrero salsa. And it's spectacular red. The normal one is pink. We call them purple coneflowers, but that's because of the cone. And the flower, the petals are all different colors. And there's another name for them in daisies. It's like rays. I'm not sure if I know all that. So I probably have 5 or 6 varieties or colors here. There's some absolutely beautiful yellow ones now. Some amazing shades of hot pink. So echinaceas are sun-loving as well. If you get them well established in the garden, that's your best chance for success. Again, a well-drained soil, but they don't mind a little bit of moisture, whereas the Rudebeckia's dry is okay too. So there you go. There's 2 really favorites in the way of perennial daisies. All right, so we had Echinaceas, we had Rudebeckias, now we have Echibeckias, which is actually a hybrid between Echinaceas and Rudebeckias. Trying to get the colors in the Rudebeckias that are annuals and introduce them into perennial plants. So the Echinaceas were used for their hardiness, and you took some of the Rudebeckia hirtas, which are not hardy here, Denver daisies and things like that, and tried to get these colors in the ranges of bronzes. There's actually a series of Echibeckias now there's probably 10 colors. This one's kind of a bronzy orange one. We also, in the perennials, so that's kind of fun. In the perennials, the Gallardias are common, or blanket flowers. These are all, by the way, great pollinator attractors. Gallardia is a very good pollinator attractor. I was chased by bees as I picked it up off the bench. And there are a lot of different colors of Gallardia. Again, they like a well-drained soil, lots of sunshine. And you'll see those, and you might wonder about those because there's so many different shades of these now. So, you know, when you see that in the garden now, it's Gallardia or blanket flower. And Coreopsis is another one. My favorite one is probably behind me. And that is this, they have a common name of Tickseed, which doesn't really, there's a reason for that. But there's lots of different varieties, and there's a whole series called the Bang series. Started out with the Big Bang, now there's a Little Bang series. And again, full sun. and quite a hardy perennial. And within this, there's also the threadleaf Coreopsis, which has a much finer leaf, smaller yellow flowers, or kind of golden or orangey golden. So lots of choices in Coreopsis. Okay, well, I want to tell you about just one more perennial daisy, and there are of course others, things like helenium or sneezeweed, hardy sunflowers. There's lots. There's Ligularia is kind of a daisy-looking flower that blooms in the summer and does well in the shade. But this is kind of like the daisy that represents them all, because it's the Shasta daisy. That used to be a member of the chrysanthemum family. Then I think they might have created a whole new family for some of the daisies, Lycanthemum. And there's a lot of really great cultivars. This one is Snow Lady, a really well-known one, a little bit shorter than the classic one. They're June bloomers, mostly, or July. And then some of them, if you cut them back, they'll put out some new growth and bloom again. Otherwise, they're almost done. Ozzy Osbourne heard me. Crazy train going by. All right, so lots of perennial daisies. As I mentioned, there's also some daisies that you'll recognize from, as annuals in garden, things you'll plant every year and you might be chasing down through the spring to plant. This is actually a Rudebeckia, but this is the one I was talking about, Rudebeckia hirta. There's lots of cultivars of that, Denver daisy, or there's some other common names for them. But this is not cold hardy for our climate, but there are lots of different cultivars of this that have great shades and lots of these bicolor. So that's another choice in Rudebeckias. And we always trying to sort out, hey, listen, they're not all Rudebeckias are hardy, and make sure people know that so they don't expect this plant to come back next year. Let's see, what else? Over on my left, creeping up on me, trying to sneak out of the picture, a couple annuals. There's Zinnias, and Zinnias are actually Mexican, and so they love the heat, and they are members of the Aster family, Asteraceae, and but they have that sort of all the flowers in the middle surrounded by a big group of petals, so that kind of makes them daisy-like. There's single-flowered ones. The variety I have is State Fair Mix, which is a super popular cut and come again zinnia that continues to bloom after you take cuts. So it's great for cut flowers. A good alternative to just getting those Mexican and other Mexican guys, dahlias. And then I have Cosmos as well. I absolutely love Cosmos in the garden. It's not a great cut flower because it doesn't last very long, but it's spectacular in the garden. And I'm going to finish off with one over here, the Biddens. And Biddens is somewhat closely related to Coreopsis, I think, and it's very much a pollinator or attractor. And there's lots of choices of these. And because they're low growing or spreading, they're great for hanging baskets and very popular in the spring. But they also make a great edging plant or garden plant. So that's Biddens. There's probably a whole bunch more daisy-like flowers. Chrysanthemums in the fall, very popular. But this gives you kind of an overview. It wasn't as crazy as I thought it was going to be. I thought I might go completely off the rails, but we've left that for the trains in the background. Hey, listen, if you enjoyed it, had fun, like or follow us on YouTube, and we have occasionally very, very informative videos as well. Thanks for watching. Take care.